Hello and welcome to this finnCap broadcast. My name's Jonathan Bright. Today we're in conversation with Kevin Dorren, CEO of Parsley Box, and Matt Good, Corporate Finance Director at finnCap, to discuss the Parsley Box IPO. Launched in 2017, Parsley Box disrupted the traditional meal service offering as a direct provider of quality nutritional meals to the elderly and those that are housebound. And today, the brand makes its debut as a listed company on AIM. Kevin, many congratulations on your AIM listing. How does it feel to get to this point?
Hey, Jonathan, thanks very much. It's really exciting, I think, for both our existing shareholders and our new shareholders to list on AIM. I think it's just the beginning of the journey, though. We're a relatively new business, but we're excited about the next 5-10 years as a listed business.
Now, you've had quite the growth journey, which you personally have been part of as both an investor at Mobius and now as CEO. So what made it an attractive investment initially, and what have been the key milestones in the company's growth journey so far?
Well, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, Parsley Box is targeting a relatively underserved market, the 60-plus market. Baby boomer plus is what we like to call it, rather than elderly. And the great thing about that is there's not that many providers in that sector. But there's also a huge amount of consumers. There's a massive growth in that consumer base over the next 5 to 10 years. So we really think it's very attractive from that perspective. And really from the day that we launched the website, we saw that it was going to be very successful, as we saw lots of customers coming to the platform and buying from us. So it's been a great growth journey from day one. We're only 4 years old, but really it is just the beginning.
Now, Matt, you've been working closely alongside the Parsley Box team for some time now. Can you give us an idea of that growth journey from your perspective?
Yeah, so we at finnCap first were involved with the business raising money in 2019, and that was the Mobius investment. I think it's fair to say since then the company's outperformed in terms of its growth trajectory. And come the summer, we were first having conversations about the summer 2020, that is. First having conversations about the possibility of listing the business. So since then, since September, we've been working on the IPO process, and it successfully closed the fundraising last week.
And Kevin, obviously the pandemic has had an impact on the business. How did that accelerate plans to IPO?
It didn't massively, I have to say. I mean, I think that one of the things that's very core within the brand is about service. It's one thing that we really take very seriously. And I think what we had in March and April last year is a very strong intent to keep serving our customers when a lot of other providers and even the supermarkets stopped taking new delivery slots. So I think what that gave was an amazing stress test. It certainly was stressful for me at the time over the scalability of the business, and we managed to get through that phase. But the great thing is, because of that level of service, we really, the customers that did come and use our platform during that time have stuck with us, and we continue to see them being loyal customers and continuing to grow. So it was an accelerant rather than anything that changed our plans, and we definitely have continued to be expecting to grow over the next 12 to 24 months as well.
And what does the opportunity look like for you on the public markets now?
Well, I think the first thing is that we want to consolidate our position. So we want to be a business that is well known for serving this demographic, and so really organic growth is really around accelerating our marketing investment and acquiring more customers. We've got a large customer base at the moment, but we're still very early days. And really what we want to see is increasing number of customers, increasing our product range to satisfy their widening needs, and potentially looking at complementary areas that we can sell other products to this existing customer base. But the core thing is accelerating our marketing to acquire new customers.
And Matt, why would you say that AIM is the right home for Parsley Box right now?
The management team of Parsley Box felt there's much more growth to go with the business, and therefore, rather than selling out at this juncture, felt that AIM provides both permanent capital and therefore some ability for raising capital and some ability for some of the investors in Parsley Box to realise some of their investment without the need to sell the whole business. So the additional benefit for a consumer-facing business is obviously the profile that will come from the listing as well. And part of the IPO was a customer offer to Parsley Box's own customers to be able to enable them to participate.
And Kevin, a question to you. You wanted to include customers as advocates and shareholders. So how have you achieved that?
Well, we've worked closely with Primary Bid, who have facilitated that offer. And I suppose from our perspective as a direct-to-consumer business, the thought of cutting our own customers who've helped make the business so successful out of the IPO just didn't sit right with me personally. And so it was definitely a good time to use that platform to allow us to do that, and we had, a high level of interest from our existing customers, and we've continued to, welcome them to the shareholder base.
And can you talk us a little bit through your growth strategy now?
Yeah, so the business is predominantly focused on driving new customer growth, because once we acquire a customer, within 9 to 12 months that customer is profitable, and so our view is that we're going to use some of the funds from the fundraise to accelerate that, and that will be trying to become a household name effectively for within this demographic. So, I'm sure you'll see us on TV more, and you'll see us in other marketing channels and be much more aware of us over the next 12 to 18 months. That should be our plan, and hopefully we can achieve that.
Also, investors these days, they're increasingly looking to businesses to evidence their ESG metrics and policies. So I was just wondering what considerations are important to Parsley Box in that field.
Yes, it's very important to our customers specifically, as well as our investors. I mean, our customers, although you might think in their 70s or 80s, they're not as concerned about the environment, they actually are very much so. So I suppose the first thing is we're a living wage employer. So that's one of the things that we think is very important within our team, within our core team. The environmental benefits of our product are actually, pretty great because they require less refrigeration, so less energy through the supply chain. There's also a massively lower level of wastage within our product range. Typically around 10% of ready meals are wasted within the supermarket supply chain, but actually more scarily, about 20% of ready meals that are manufactured are thrown in the bins by consumers. So that's actually having something that can be stored in the cupboard allows you to really reduce your wastage as well, and have something that's handy and convenient for our customers to be able to consume at any time they want to.
Now, Matt, there seems to be a renewed interest in the consumer sector with there's the recent listings of Virgin Wines in the Style. We also have Deliveroo about to list. Why do you think that is?
I think in those specific examples, you've got a number of businesses there that have been beneficiaries from the particular circumstances of the last 12 months and the restrictions from COVID. And some good businesses who've taken advantage of those circumstances to grow, perhaps accelerate their growth compared to where they thought they were going to be or where they planned to be. However, I think it's important to note we are now seeing investors looking at other stocks and other opportunities which are perhaps less COVID winners and more looking at the return to normality as being a theme, particularly with the fact that consumers have been paying down debt and not spending as much over the last year. So we're very much expecting a boom in consumer spending, which is going to drive further interest in broader consumer stocks as well.
And Kevin, just finally, what does the future hold? What are you looking forward to next?
Looking forward to having the IPO out of the way, I think is the first thing, to be honest. But actually getting back to running the business. I mean, that, I think that the core focus for us is continuing to drive that growth, and really actually we've got a great team that we've hired, and actually one of the reasons for going public was to attract further talent to the business, and that has definitely achieved. We've achieved that. So we want to continue to focus on growing the business and investing in marketing and continuing the growth journey.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations again. Kevin Dorren, CEO, Parsley Box, Matt Good, Corporate Finance Director at finnCap Group. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.